Minecraft has its own form of electricity. It's called redstone. Now, you've probably seen an awful lot of redstone contraptions if you're watching this video, because honestly, computing in Minecraft is something that's not done very often. But we're going to take it on today. So, in today's video, we are going to have a look at the fundamentals of computing, and specifically computing in Minecraft, which contains these four contraptions that I've slapped together. These three are things that pretty much anyone can find on the internet. Like, this one's literally just an inverted signal. This one is a bit different, and they are the AND gate, the OR gate, the NOT gate, and the XOR gate. So what we're going to do in this video is we are going to explain all of these fundamentals and then get the video published. But before we get into that, I just want to clarify what the different wool colors mean. So your lime wool and your yellow wool are your inputs. And you can see that that's common throughout all of them, except for here in the NOT gate, which only has one input, which you will see why in a bit. The blue wool is your final output. So as you can see here, this redstone signal will run right through here on the blue wool and pop out into your final output, which we're going to represent with this lamp turning on and off. And you can see that's common throughout this entire thing. Now, this red and light blue circuit over here is a completely different circuit that we don't have to worry about right now, but just know that it's there, and I'll explain what it does in a little bit. So, without further ado, we need to get started with... The AND gate is pretty simple. It essentially means if this input and this input are active, then you will have an output. So I'm going to demonstrate that by flicking just one of these levers. You can see no output. If I flick just the other one of these levers, no output. But if both levers are flicked at the same time, you have an output. So this is essentially used in computing to say, well, okay, we need both of these signals to be active for this condition to be true, therefore we will then get an output. And this is used, for example, when you hold in Minecraft, for example, when you hold W and D, like I'm doing now, you move forward and to the right. That'd be a much more complex version of this AND gate, where the W key and the D key must both be pressed to move in that specific direction. So that's the AND gate. Pretty simple. Works really easily. It's a very common Minecraft contraption. I can't take credit for it. I also don't know who made it in the first place, but it's pretty simple, and it's been used here to essentially show that this and this is going to produce an output. So the next thing we need to move on to is the OR gate. Essentially means if this input or this input is active, then you will get an output. Now, it doesn't matter if it's both inputs or if it's just one input, you're going to get an output either way. So if I flick this lever, you can see the lamp turns on. Flick this lever, the lamp stays on. And if I unflick this lever, the lamp also stays on. But if they're both off, the lamp turns off once again. Pretty simple contraption. Once again, pretty common in Minecraft. For example, I've seen people use an OR gate to say, well, if this chest or this chest is empty, which are required for an auto crafting system, then the lamp turns on, telling you you need to refill one chest or the other. So that's the OR gate. It's pretty self-explanatory. But now we need to move on to probably the simplest thing, but also the most powerful thing in this entire list. The NOT gate is incredibly simple. Essentially, if you don't have an input like we do right now, you have an output, and if you do have an input, you don't have an output. Very simple. And this is a very basic signal inverter. Now, this is something that's used all over in redstone. It's incredibly useful, and it is a really useful tool for when we're using computers. For example, if that and that are true, then, well, we don't get an output. Pretty simple. I really like it, and it's going to come in very handy when we end up building the final product. But now we need to move on to the one that is probably the most complex to explain and understand, and the one that I didn't actually find any designs for, which is the XOR gate. Pretty complicated to understand compared to the other ones over here. Essentially, if this input or this input is active, then we will get an active output. But if both inputs are active, then we do not get an output. Also, if both inputs are inactive, then we do get an output. So let me demonstrate that. If I flick just one of these levers, you can see we get an output over here. If I flick this one off and then the other one on, you can see we also get an output. But If I flick them both on, we do not get an output. And essentially, the way I've done that is by having an AND gate for when both of these are active, then it inverts the signal using a NOT gate, and then deactivates the signal going through here from our basic, very, very basic OR gate, which we explained back over there. It's a pretty simple redstone contraption compared to some other things I've seen. Some people have built some insane things out of redstone, but this is the most complex part of what we will be using to build our Minecraft computer. With that, that's all of the fundamentals of Minecraft computing explained. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is linking some of these together and then making a very, very basic calculator. So it will be working in binary units and outputting or inputting two numbers and an operand. So it'll be either addition or multiplication, depending on what you want to do. I'm not going to talk about subtraction or division because subtraction and addition are literally just subtraction and division are just addition and multiplication, just inverse. You don't have to do anything different. So that's the plan for the next video. I hope you've really enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button if you want to keep up to date with this series, or if you want to see more stuff from me. Like, I've put out a titleable shulker box loader, which you can see on my channel, and I put out a video every 4 days. So if you want to take a look at those and keep up to date with my videos, then subscribe to the channel. I have been the Survival Architect. I'm also known as Liv. You can see me in the next video, and have a good day.